Today's topic is Oedogonium, and in this class we'll be discussing morphology and life cycle of Oedogonium. Oedogonium is a genus of filamentous green algae, belongs to class Chlorophyceae, order Oedogoniales, and family Oedogoniaceae. Oedogonium grows in freshwater, forming unbranched filament. You can see here unbranched filament of Oedogonium attached to substrate by specialized holdfast cell. This is holdfast cell. Oedogonium is known for its unique cell division, which leaves characteristic rings at the top of the cell. You can see here, these are the rings which are present at the top of the cells. Oedogonium has ability to reproduce both asexually as well as sexually. Asexually through fragmentation and sexually through the formation of gametes. Oedogonium plays important role in freshwater ecosystem and has a unique life cycle involving both sexual and asexual reproduction. Next is distribution and habitat. There are more than 285 species found everywhere, but only in freshwater. In India, more than 114 species are found. The most common Indian species are Oedogonium elegans, Oedogonium undulatum, and Oedogonium aerulatum. Oedogonium is a freshwater alga, as I already told you, found in freshwater bodies like ponds, tanks, ditches, quiet areas of river. Some species are epiphytic on aquatic plants, while one species, Oedogonium terrestris, is found on moist soil. The plant body is thalloid, green, filamentous, unbranched, with basal cell as holdfast, which attaches the plant with substratum. Next is thallus structure of Oedogonium. Just look at this diagram. This is a filament of Oedogonium. So thallus is filamentous. It is multicellular and unbranched. All the cells of the filament are cylindrical, you can see here, except the basal and the apical cell. The basal cell is colorless. Just look at this basal cell. This cell is colorless and forms holdfast. The proximal end of this holdfast extends to produce finger-like projections which help the filament to attach on the substratum. You can see here the apical cell is rounded and elongated. Now, structure of single cell of Oedogonium. Vegetative cell of Oedogonium is cylindrical and possesses thick cell wall. Inner layer is cellulosic and the outer layer is made up of pectin. A thin layer of chitin is also present above the pectin layer. The protoplasm contains reticulate parietal chloroplast. You can see here, this is this net-like structure. This is chloroplast, and this chloroplast extends from one end of the cell to the other end. So a single nucleus, you can see here, this is single nucleus, and many perinoids are present. This is nucleus, and these small rounded bodies are perinoid. The pigmentation is typical Chlorophyceae, having chlorophyll A, B, beta carotene, and xanthophyll. The terminal cell of the filament is rounded. Some cells below the terminal cell possesses apical caps, which are ring-like marking on their upper part called apical caps. Just look at this diagram. These are apical caps. The presence of cap cell is the characteristic feature of Oedogonium. Next is reproduction. Oedogonium reproduces by vegetative, asexual, and sexual reproduction, sexual methods. Vegetative reproduction takes place by fragmentation and akinete formation. Asexual reproduction means during favorable conditions, some of the vegetative cells function as zoosoprangia, and a single zoospore is produced per zoosoprangium. You can see here this cell of the filament. It just function as zoosoprangium. So this is zoosoprangium and with single zoospores. A ring of short flagella is found at the base of colorless beak-like anterior end of the zoospore. So this is structure of the zoospore and this is ring of flagella. So zoospore is released from the zoosprangium and swim in the water. It is if it reaches a suitable substratum, it divides into two cells. The lower cell forms holdfast and the green upper cell divides and produces the filament of the Oedogonium. Next is sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction in Oedogonium is of advanced oogamous type. Sexual reproduction is more frequent in still waters than in running water. Male gametes are produced in antheridia. Antheridia is a male sex organ, and the female gametes are produced in oogonium. Oogonia are the female sex organ. So depending upon the nature of antheridia producing plants, just listen very carefully. Depending upon the nature of antheridia producing plants, Oedogonium species are of two types, macrandrous and nenandrous. Macrandrous, in the case of macrandrous species, antheridia are produced on normal size plant. Macrandrous species may be monoecious or dioecious. In dioecious macrandrous species, antheridia and oogonia are produced on separate male and female plants of normal size. Nenandrous, here antheridia are formed on dwarf males or nenandria. Means here oogonia are normal in size and the antheridia are produced on special type of the dwarf plants known as dwarf male. So dwarf males are formed by androspores which are produced in androsporangia. If androsporangia and oogonia are formed on same plant, they are called gynandrosporous. If endosporangia and oogonium are formed on different plants, they are called endosporous. Actually, in macrandrous species, here normally a cap cell forms one entheridial mother cell, which divide to form a row of 2 to 40 entheridia. You can see here entheridia in a row. So entheridia are broad, flat, short, and cylindrical. The content of entheridial cells divide longitudinally into two entherozoids. The entherozoids are liberated in the same fashion as zoospores. The liberated entherozoids are pale green or yellow-green, oval or pear-shaped. The entherozoids are motile, about 30 subapical flagella present at the base of the beak or hyaline spot. Entherozoids swim freely in water before they reach oogonia. Entherozoids are similar to zoospores. You can see here, these are entherozoids and these are similar to zoospores in structure, but these are smaller than zoospores. In nenandrous form, here entheridia are formed on dwarf males or nenandria. The dwarf male filament is produced by germination of special type of spores called endospores, as I already told you, and the androspore is produced singly within the endosporangium. Endosporangia are flat, discoid cells slightly larger than entheridia. Each endosporangium produces a single endospore, just as in the case of zoospores. Liberation of endospore is similar to that of the zoospores. The endospores look similar to zoospores except for their smaller in size. After swimming about for some time, the endospores settle on oogonial wall. The endospores germinate on into a dwarf male. As you can see here, this is oogonia, and these are dwarf male. So the nidandria are 2 to 4 celled long, 2 to 4 celled long. It has a basal attaching cell. This is other cells are enthedial cells. These cells are enthedial cells. Oogonium are highly differentiated. The structure and development of oogonium is identical in the Macrandrus and means both in Macrandrus and Nidandrus species. Like Enthredia, any freely divided or actively growing cap cell function as oogonial mother cell. Oogonium mother cell divide by transverse division into two unequal cells. The upper larger cell contains more cytoplasm, food, and it enlarges into spherical flask-shaped oogonium. And the lower smaller cell function as sporting cells. When sporting cell divide again, many oogonia are formed in chain. The protoplasm in oogonium transforms into single egg or oosphere. This oosphere is non-motile, green due to chlorophyll, and has a central nucleus. As the ovum matures, nucleus moves to the periphery and the oosphere um, retracts slightly from the oogonial wall and develops a hyaline or receptive spot just outside the nucleus. The receptive spot receives enterozoid for fertilization. So next is fertilization. Enterozoids swim through the opening of the oogonial wall and enter the egg through the hyaline receptive spot. Only one male enterozoid is able to fuse with ovum. After fusion, the diploid zygote, it secretes a thick wall around itself and forms oospore. The color of the oospore changes from green to reddish brown. Oospore is liberated by disintegration of oogonial wall. Oospore is spherical, reddish brown in color. It is three-layered and contains a diploid nucleus and dense cytoplasm. Oospore is a resting spore, and it may become dormant for a year or more. The diploid oospore divides mitotically to form 4 haploid daughter protoplasts. Each daughter protoplast metamorphoses into zoospores known as meiozospores. The meiozospores are liberated in a vesicle, and soon the vesicle breaks and meiozospores come in water. Each spore germinates and form a new plant. Thank you.